Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it again. We're back at it again, man. And for those of you that are listening to the podcast, salutes to everybody that's joining me. Salutes to all the savages. We are going live. We're having this radio show directly after a New York Jets mind-blowing loss to the Miami Dolphins, 34-13. 34-13, the New York Jets lost this game. And let me tell you something. Tim Boyle, this offense didn't do much of anything. And we are going to have some discussion about it. All right. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me say this to promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also, all right, on Twitter as well. Going over to Twitter, type in at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter, okay? At YoungJ000 for my personal page. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back, and we can go back and forth on there as well. I'm also on iTunes. Going over to iTunes, type in The Long Beach Joe Show. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a 5-star rating, and leave me some feedback. I want to hear about what you folks think I do here. I'm also on YouTube as well, for those of you that may not know. That's how we're live right now. We're talking to the savages. I see callers. I'll come to y'all in a second. We're getting to everybody, man. This was a tough game to watch. But trust, when you come on over to YouTube, which is Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, all right? When you come over to YouTube, just know you're going to be meet with some people, all right? You're going to have to meet them. And those people are called the savages. That's my chat, man. You want to know why I call my chat savages? Because they're savage. Savage! Listen, they don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you're about. If they do not like your take, if they don't like what you bring to the table, they're going to let you know. All right? And boy, do we have quite a bit to let it be known about. We're going to get to the callers again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. Give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We'll come to you guys in just a second. The New York Jets offense was horrific today. It's just as bad as we've seen, right? That continued today. To start the game off, Allen Lazard was actually inactive in this game. He was benched. He's a healthy scratch. The New York Jets, clearly the New York Jets staff is keeping him and holding him accountable for his awful play that we've seen so far. But the offense was horrific on the day, okay? Couldn't score a first down, couldn't get a first down for the longest. They were like 0 for 8, I think, at one point for third down conversions. Couldn't get anything going. The Dolphins had well over 300 yards of offense. I think it was like 307 yards of offense at one point in the game. This is well into the second half. And we couldn't even get 50 yards of offense. Nothing. The offense was so bad by the New York Jets that the Dolphins were up, okay? They were up at one point in this game, and we got extremely excited because Eccles was actually able to catch and secure an interception and return it for a touchdown. He caught the interception, returned it for a touchdown, and that made it 10-6. 10-6 for the Jets. Now we're hyped. We're fired up, right? Because this is right before the half. We get a pick. We're feeling good. We get the touchdown. We get the score. We're on the board. It's 10-6. Everything's feeling all right. Well, then guess what? They come back. Tua throws another interception to DJ Reed. And we're like, all right, we got the interception again. We got another one. We're at the 45. Okay. We're going into the half with this. Everything should be smooth and good. No. This is when the Jets offense just fully burnt down. On 1st and 10 from the 49, from the 49-yard line. They decide to call a Hail Mary instead of kneeling it to go into the half. Tim Boyle dropped back on 1st and 10 at the 49 and threw a ball up into the end zone that gets picked off by Jay Holland. So I know you're saying to yourself, if you didn't catch the game, well, Joe, what's the problem with that? That's not a big deal. Okay, Hail Mary gets picked off. Yeah, it got picked off by Jay Holland and returned 99 yards through a bunch of lumbering Jets players for a touchdown before the half. That put the game 17-6 Miami. With an offense that was already struggling, we gift wrapped them 7 points before the half. Gift wrapped them. The offense never really got rolling in this game. We can talk about the stats. A lot of the stats, though, for Tim Boyle was in garbage time. Dolphins were kind of letting up. Keep in mind today, Tim Boyle pressured just like another quarterback that was here with the New York Jets as well. The offensive line continues to show that they're having issues. 7 sacks today, lost 49 yards in sack yardage. Tim Boyle was 27-38, 179 yards throwing the football. He also had 2 interceptions. Tim Boyle was targeting check down after check down. There are guys breathing down his neck. Max Mitchell today was getting destroyed, getting absolutely destroyed. Penalties the same. Newman, multiple penalties. We saw offsides penalties on the Jets. We saw Irvin Charles tackled a punter in this game. That was a flag. We saw Michael Clemens get thrown out in the game for throwing a punch and hitting a referee. C.J. Mosley had a flag as well. Now, I'm not blaming this on the defense here. The defense did all that they can do. They were holding up, but eventually they broke. It's the same stuff. We saw drops today as well. It's the same stuff. And the play calling, atrocious. 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 The offensive play calling is horrible. It's the same old, same old. And at this point, I don't know exactly what will fix the Jets offense. I cannot wait to get to the lines. 515-602-9639. I cannot wait to get to the callers because I want someone to tell me what needs to be done to fix this Jets offense. This offensive line is horrific. It's horrific. Awful. Even when the defense holds up, there's nothing they can do. Nothing. At one point, the Jets were 0 for 8 on third down conversion. We couldn't get anything. Nothing rolling. We couldn't even get past the 50. Mind-boggling. The penalties continue. The undisciplined play continues. Everything just continues. 515-602-9639 is the number. We're going to the lines. I'm fed up. I'm just fed up with it all. We can't stop. We cannot stop. And the offense can't even get started. Can't get anything rolling. 0. Goodness gracious. We're going to the lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Keep in mind, if you're a new caller, there's no cursing on my show. I don't allow cursing. Also, make sure that your background is clear of noise, okay? And also make sure that your phone line is good so I'll be able to hear you. If you want to give to the platform, Super Chat is there. Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Anything you give is greatly appreciated. Also, please give the stream a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Share the stream and the show across your social media platforms with your friends and your families. The New York Jets are in a spin cycle. We're now 4-7. And this offense is putrid. I'm talking downright putrid. And you know what else kills me? Right before I get to the callers, I'm coming directly to y'all. Izzy Anabanakanda still no carries in this game. No carries in this game at all. Why is that? What did we draft him for? Confused. We're getting to the lines, 515-602-9639. First caller we're going to Val, man. Val's on the line. Rusty, 914-908. We'll come to you in a second. For those of you that do not know Val, he's a savage. Savage! Val salutes. We're here after a mind-numbing loss to the Dolphins, 34-13. Val, give me your thoughts about what you saw today from this Jets offense. I'm just stunned by the ineptitude of it all.
Man, oh man. I said it was going to be 10-21 that we was going to lose this game, but wow. What I seen today was ridiculous, like really ridiculous, man. And it's just like, I don't even want to hear about Devontae Adams anymore. Like that is out the window. We got to fix this offensive line. The play calling, terrible. It's just like, man, like what can we do as a Jets fans, man? Like, I really don't understand. Like, if we have all these weeks that we're going through and throughout, do you think the Eagles are going to just sit here and just keep running out the same thing? Do you think any organizations that are going to try to win a Super Bowl is going to keep throwing out the same thing? Even the Buffalo Bills, they had to throw out their offensive coordinator because he wasn't doing his job, and they beat us, and they look alive again. Where is the adjustments from this organization?
Yeah.
That's what it just seems like we're just punting the season, and we're just going to hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back and, you know, come and save the day and stuff. But how are you going to do this with this offensive line? And I feel, and again, it's like we're repeating from what we did last year, man. It's like the defense plays great in the beginning of the season, and then they're going to eventually burn out because there's no offensive balance, there's no offensive help. They're on the field the majority of the time. This defense got two picks, and we still couldn't do anything. You know, it took us until the end, garbage time, to score a touchdown, which is ridiculous because we haven't scored a touchdown on offense in a long time. But a passing touchdown because Brees did get a touchdown in the last game, but still ridiculous, man. And we just got 13 points. We should definitely be happy because the time that we do get to 13 points is a whole bunch of field goals that we do. You know, Zerline has been MVP of the offense for how long, man? And Robert Saleh, man, and Nathaniel Hackett, oh my God, man. That's why I said the only person that don't deserve to get fired is the defensive coach. If you're going to fire anybody, fire both of them, but keep the defensive coach because he's actually out there doing his job. Because everybody just looks lifeless. Go ahead.
No, listen, and I hear you, and I want to continue to hear from you. And again, we'll get to all the callers, 515-602-9639. You're talking about firing people, and I've had this discussion multiple times with different people in my thought process, and I just want to hear this from you. I know that there's a lot of people that are screaming and waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come back. I know that there's a lot of Jets fans that want people up out of here. How much of a reality do you believe it is or could be that we will actually fire Robert Saleh or Hackett this season? Do you think that's a reality?
0% chance. 0% chance.
Okay. If you think it's 0%, why?
Definitely not. Oh, because Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
There you go. It's Aaron Rodgers. This is Aaron Rodgers' team for right now, and we traded, to get Aaron Rodgers. We got our quarterback that, we said we was going to get, which I wanted Lamar Jackson, but we're going to put that to the side. But but he can't throw. But I'm going to leave that receipt all the way to the side and stuff like that. But, so, we gambled with Aaron Rodgers, but I think this is Aaron Rodgers' team, and there's a 0% chance you hear Aaron Rodgers on Tuesday when he's with Pat McAfee. He's saying that everybody's to blame and stuff, and, we're throwing the blame at wrong people and stuff. So, he's gonna protect his guys and stuff. That's rightfully so because they're all friends and buddies and stuff. So I don't see that happening. So to answer your question, 0%. They're all coming back, and like I said, that better work next year. Because if next year doesn't work out, and we're coming out probably not even making the playoffs, and we have another losing season, oh, best believe everybody's gonna be packing their bags. Joe Namath is gonna get his wish, and it's gonna be a whole change of scenery.
Oh man, that's gonna be brutal. Now, my next question for you, Val. You're talking about this offense and how bad they look today, because it looked really bad. What changes do you think need to be made? I mean, what are your thoughts about what you saw? Would you go back to Zach Wilson after watching Boyle today, or are you going to Simeon? What do you think needs to be done, man?
I mean, it's not even Zach Wilson. Like I said, Zach Wilson, he is not the guy, and nor he wasn't all of the problems and stuff. But again, you just seeing we just got a passing touchdown, and we haven't got that with Zach Wilson at all. So I just feel like, and the ball is moving out a lot more faster, even though the offensive line is, is bad. But the thing is, it's a setup because you have a pocket passer with a bad offensive line, so he can't get out of the pocket fast because he has to, he can't really run that fast. He's a pocket passer. He's a traditional pocket passer. And when you have pocket passers, you have to have a good offensive line. So the logic does not make no sense. And to answer your question, I will roll with Simeon, but it just seems like, they just want their guys out there, their buddies that they've been rolling with for a couple of years, and Tim fits in that bubble. So I think he didn't play good at all, but like I said, he's not the guy either. We've seen what we've seen in the preseason, but like I said, the ball's coming out fast, and we got some type of plays going, and it still looked lifeless. But
here's the thing, and I think that's an interesting point. Now I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I love to give both sides of the argument. Again, I'm not a Zach pacifist. I'm just giving you both sides of the argument here, right? Here's the deal. We can talk about the ball getting out fast, but the ball's getting out fast and it's going nowhere. The New York Jets were at least 0-7 or 0-8 on third downs at one point. The offense was completely lifeless up until, like you said, garbage time. It looked trash, right? And that touchdown that came, it came in garbage time. The Dolphins had let up. But I remember the Zach Wilson that led a drive that was going to end up in a touchdown during the game as well. It was late in the game in garbage time, and C.J. Uzomah dropped it. Hit him in the chest. Here's the thing, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Everything that we talked about with Zach Wilson when he was a starting quarterback before he was benched, the penalties and sloppy play, we saw that today. We saw all of it, right? We saw the false starts from Newman killing the offense. We saw we saw penalties on defense that gave the Dolphins first downs as well. We saw all of that stuff. We saw drops today as well. 408, I'll see you. I'll be coming to you in a second. We saw the penalties on drops. But what else we saw is we saw the offensive line being mauled, and we saw Tim Boyle running for his life, getting destroyed. He was pressured high. Now, this is a guy that knows the offense out the wazoo. He's been in this offense for years, and he's struggling with the pressure as well. We also saw missed throws today from Tim Boyle as well, because there was a throw right before he took a sack where Garrett Wilson was breaking wide open over the middle. We all saw this, right? I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate, Val. All of those things we blamed Zach Wilson for. Penalties, pressure, drops, all this stuff. Sloppy play, bad play calling. We said that was all Zach Wilson. Well, today you can blame Zach Wilson. Number 2 wasn't out there. It was number 7. So if the offense is still dead and lifeless under Tim Boyle, and it looked very dead and lifeless, if the Dolphins had kept with their pedal to the metal defensively, because they lightened up, we all saw it. If the Dolphins had taken their pedal on the metal and kept it all the way, we wouldn't even got a drive or a touchdown. So if the offense is just as lifeless under Tim Boyle, or more lifeless under Tim Boyle than it was with Zach Wilson, why aren't we blaming Tim Boyle for that?
You can't really blame him. You can't.
But why?
Because
we blame Zach Wilson for it, though. We blame Zach Wilson for all those things, Val. I'm just telling you. Look, last show we had, we talked about the issues that were right there, the penalties, There were penalties, massive penalties in this game. We talked about drops. There was drops in this game too. Jared Wilson dropped. He dropped one that could have been a touchdown. It was kind of jargled there a bit, but he didn't bring it in, but it hit him in his hands. He also dropped another football. We saw drops in other places. We saw an offense that was lifeless and struggling. No running game. Today, the running game was null and void as well. Breece Hall had 25 yards rushing. The New York Jets had 29 yards rushing total today. Total. So why aren't we blaming Tim Boyle for how dead this offense is?
All right, so I would say it like this. So we're playing devil advocate. Okay,
I'm just asking.
I would say he went 27. I'm explaining it. He went 27 for 38. He got the ball out of his hands fast, and yes, it was lifeless. But at the same time, you can't have Zach Wilson. I mean, he could extend the play with his legs, and it took him until week 10 to actually do it. I mean, the pockets be wide open for him to actually. He had a better offensive line behind him than Tim Boyle had today. You know what I'm saying? So I can say you can't really blame Tim Boyle about that. But Zach Wilson had plenty of opportunities. He had multiple games from preseason to up to, week 11, week 12 and stuff like that. So, I really can't blame Tim Boyle. I mean, like I said, he's not the answer either. I feel like we have a weak quarterback roster right now. Besides Aaron Rodgers being injured, we should have got somebody better in here, in my opinion, and we really wanted to push and actually win some more games. And that's what I got to say about that. And also, man, I got to say the play calling is terrible as well too. It got to go from coaching, because if you just look at the game, you've seen the Dolphins, the offensive plays. Did you see the offensive plays, the trickeries? They know how to use their guys that could push it on the top. They had this man Tyreek Hill as a running back, ran a little slant, a wheel route, and then caught a touchdown and absolutely, scored a touchdown and stuff. It was a lot of trickeries. You could tell that they put in a lot of work on their offense, and you see why they be putting up a lot of points. But we're running elementary basic plays. I'm like, where's trickery? We're getting rid of our weapons, and now sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. I'll let you finish this point.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm saying we're getting rid of our weapons that we could have actually used that for, and now we have injuries at the wide receiver. Why are we getting rid of depth? And then now we have injuries, and now we got to result on players that was not to diss them, but it was undrafted.
Yeah,
it was undrafted. You could have had players that actually had experience, that actually went to the Super Bowl, and he couldn't even get no snaps.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, man. Like,
here's what I don't understand. Right, going back to Boyle. Tim Boyle has been in this offense for years, since back to the Packers. We were talking about Zach Wilson and saying, hey, when are you going to open up the playbook? Right? When you guys going to open up the playbook? Oh, Zach doesn't know the playbook. Zach doesn't know. Zach doesn't know. Well, what is the excuse today? I'm confused. What's the excuse
Russell
today?
Wilson didn't know either.
Yeah, huh?
Russell Wilson didn't know the playbook either.
I mean, what is the excuse today?
If you really want to go there.
Yeah. What's the excuse today? Because Tim Boyle knows the playbook back and forth. He knows the offense back and forth. What is the excuse today? I'm just asking questions. Again, I am not a Zach. I'm not a Zach pacifist. I'm not a Zach apologist. None of those things. I'm just asking. Tim Boyle, and mind you, Nathaniel Hackett brought in Tim Boyle. That's his guy. That was his answer to backup quarterback duty. That was his answer. That's why he's here. He was actually here to help Zach Wilson learn the offense along with Aaron Rodgers. And we're seeing the same things. And also saying that Zach Wilson Zach Wilson didn't have much of pocket either. He was one of the most highly pressured quarterbacks in the league when he was starting. He was pressured out the wazoo.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yes, he was. He was running for his life.
Before I let you go, Val, give me your thoughts on Allen Lazard being benched, a healthy scratch before this game. What are your thoughts about that? We're going to get to the other lines after your take.
They're now holding players accountable. They're trying to save face and stuff. Like now, even Michael Carter. I just feel like what they did with Michael Carter was, I think he probably went off on them, and then they just end up just waiving him and getting rid of him and stuff like that. That's my true opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, man, because Michael Carter, he doesn't hold his tongue for too long, so it was about to happen. But I just feel like I don't. And you was just talking about it. Where is Izzy?
Mm-hmm.
Where is Izzy? Like, where we're gonna see our rookie running back that you drafted and that actually showed up in the preseason and stuff like that? Where's your young guys?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I really feel bad for us actually watching these games, because now we're starting to get to the Adam Gase we're about to get back to the Adam Gase era, and the way how the vibe is, man, because it's really bad. And the thing that sucks about this, we actually have good players. We have great players, and we're still looking like the Adam Gase offense, but we was actually scoring more. And then now people are saying, you know what, Adam Gase is probably better than this on offense.
Good Lord.
That's really bad. You're headed into that territory. That's terrible, man.
Yeah.
That is very terrible.
Listen,
I
Val.
can't even say Todd Bowles, because Todd Bowles, he was winning games.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all right.
Listen, Val, I got to slide off. All right. We'll hear from you. Maybe we'll hear from you later on again this show. If you'd like to call back in again, I'll welcome it. But we got a lot of callers. We got to get to them. I got to go, man. Thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one.
No problem, man. Everybody like, subscribe to Joe, and keep doing your thing, Joe, and salute to you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Listen, we're going to keep getting to the lines. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. I am not a Zach, what do they call it, a Zach truther. I'm not that guy. I'm not. I am a fair and balanced Jets fan. All right? If I would have been a truther for anyone, it would have been Sam Darnold. And I bashed him too. I bashed him too. When he sucked, I came on here, and I am a Trojan man through and through. Fight on. And when he was trash, I ran up here and told y'all he was trash. I was running so fast up here when he was having bad games. I would run so fast up here. I burnt out the soles to my shoes. I was running up here with holes in my socks, screaming, couldn't wait to tell y'all. I was running up here so fast. I'm just asking the question. Everything that we blame Zach Wilson for, we're still seeing. And he's not playing. Legacy Breaker, I see you in the chat. He says, stay on that right there, Joe. I'm just asking. That's all I'm doing. You talking to me about pressure. You talking to me about this. Zach Wilson was one of the highest pressure quarterbacks in the league. He couldn't drop back without somebody in his face. Y'all can look this. I'm not making this up. These is all, like, you can research these stats. Drops, we saw that today. Penalties, we saw that today. Penalties that cost them, that set them back, we saw it today. Holding calls, all kinds of things. And we also saw the play calling was still suspect. Even though you're starting the guy that knows the playbook damn near better than anybody else except Hackett and Rodgers. What's the excuse? We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I'm taking all callers. Next, we're going to Rusty. G, I see you in the building. You'll be up next. But we're going to Rusty. New callers. Hold on. Okay, we'll get to everybody. Listen, for those of you that do not know, Rusty, he's a savage. Savage!
Heart you, Joe, and fellow savages.
Salutes, Rusty.
Boy.
Rusty, I'm sitting here, and I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. Everything that I heard.
Well, I can tell because you're asking for those extra Trojans because you're about to be in our division next year, so I understand what you need. Let's go the Ohio State. I'm sorry, I had to. I love you, fam. I had to. All right, let's go. Let's adjust.
All right. Okay, Rusty, we know. All right. Fight on. All right. Let's put that aside. Let's pick up our Jets jerseys again. All right. Hold on, Rusty. Now listen.
Yeah, we needed some laughs before it happens.
Oh, the Jets offense is funny enough.
You said it best, Putrid. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, what's going to happen going forward with Tim Boyle? Because all of the issues that I was told were only issues because of Zach Wilson, I saw today, and Zach Wilson was not playing. Rusty, me and you were sitting here. I'm live. Me and you were sitting here. We were conversating in the chat. This offense was dead. I'm talking lifeless, almost comically dead, right? Even after the pick six.
Like, you couldn't sell a comic with it.
No.
So, yeah, you're right. It's like newspaper. You had to get rid of it. And you had to force feed it onto the people.
So I'm wondering, Rusty, what was your assessment of what you saw today first? That's what I want to get your thoughts on that. Go ahead and give me your thoughts.
I was thrilled with the squirrel at first. Like, not thrilled with the squirrel, but thrilled as, like, the squirrel, like how they had it. I don't know, in the movies. I've seen a lot of them with my nieces and nephews. It's like the Ice World things where the squirrel raccoon, catches the nut finally. Mm-hmm. That's what I was like when Lazard got benched. So I was like, yes, something happened. And then they started to boil. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. For when you're in college and you throw one touchdown and 13 interceptions, right? That's how. And then you're in the NFL, but I'm flabbergasted. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where to go from it. How do you not start Simeon? Or Simeon.
So Michael, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Rusty. And that's going to be my next question for you. Okay, your assessment of this offense is that there's issues here, clearly. And Boyle, again, is supposed to be the guy that is a complete know-it-all about this offense. There's nobody that knows it better than him, and Aaron Rodgers has been in it for years. Everything's good. We're still seeing the same problems, and we're seeing an offense that is dead, right? So are you moving on from Tim Boyle after this game? Is that what you want to see happen? Are you going back to Zach?
I mean, I would do the Simeon thing, but all I'm saying is just how it played out. Zach would have won today. We wouldn't have had that pick six at the end of, what? How? So we get an interception, and then I'm sorry for yelling, too. Mm-hmm. My bad.
Go ahead.
A little bit after the game. But so we do right, and then how do you let a 100-plus yard interception come back? That
you tell me. You tell me.
Yeah, I was hoping you could tell me.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out, and I don't think Zach does that because people aren't it's weird. Zach can do that zip. We can bash Zach all we want, but Zach can do it's bizarre and it's just so I don't know what else word but to say, but something's holding him back or whatever. But he can do a zip 40-yarder to where you have to respect it, to where you have to play people inside the 10 and you can't put 5 defenders inside the end zone. Mm-hmm. So you have to respect the madness, if you will. Then he does this. We saw it with Wilson. Well, Zach to Garrett, and, Conklin's the best defender. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
You should cut me off. But you're right.
Here's the thing. And I think that we're looking at an offense that is having the exact same issues because, and this is the reason why I'm asking the people these questions, is because I think what's this game is showing us, right, in the brightest of lights, prime time game, everybody's watching on Black Friday, is that there are offensive issues on this New York Jets team that are bigger than Zach Wilson. And this is something that I've talked about.
It's a line worse than Tony Montana ever seen. Sorry.
This is something that I've been talking about, and I was bashed a little for it, right? But we're seeing it.
Same here, fam, and I had you. But you're right. You were bashed royally.
There was no one. There's no one that you can say that knows this offense better than Tim Boyle. Nobody. Outside of Aaron Rodgers and Hackett.
Oh, no, that's false.
Nobody. So don't tell me you can't
right.
open the.
Oh, I understand your sarcasm. I'm sorry.
No. Don't tell me.
You got me.
Don't tell me that you can't open up this offense for him. Don't tell me that. But the other issues that we're seeing, this offensive line not being able to hold up on their blocks, him getting mauled. He was sacked 7 times today. I remember when people were saying, well, Zach just takes sacks. Tim Boyle, the consummate veteran, 7 sacks today, 49 yards in sack yards.
Well, what happens to a Boyle?
2 picks. 2 picks today.
I mean, a Boyle in the description of a Boyle is a stay-in-place standard situation that gets popped, and when it does, it's not good.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I'll just leave it at that.
I think what we're looking at here is we're finally coming to a realization. You know, some Jets fans are coming to a realization that the issues are bigger than just Zach. They're just, this today put that on display. So before I let you go, Rusty.
1,000.
Give me your thoughts, man. There's Jets fans that want to see Sulla, Hackett fired. Do you think that that's a reality? G, you're next.
I honestly, dude, I love Coach Saleh. I hope we can. Like, I wish there was a world to where him and Ulbrich can stay, which I understand if Ulbrich has to go. I'm cool with that. If Saleh would be able to stay at DC, but we could promote Coach Ron to head coach. Dude, I love Ron Middleton. Dude, he's the freaking best.
Yeah.
Like, how
Listen.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die? Like, what? How do you not go to war for that? And then he proves it. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
No, listen. I hear you. I don't think it happens, but there's Jets fans screaming for changes. Listen, Rusty, I got to slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Absolutely. Salute to you. Happy Thanksgiving, too.
Salute.
And to all the savages, salutes. We'll get through this.
Yeah.
We'll eventually.
Yeah.
But, tsunamis. Let's go, Jets.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Listen, I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking questions. Okay? Guys struggling to get open. Same thing today. Oh, Zach, all he does is target Breece Hall. You want to look at where Boyle was going with the ball a lot today? A lot of check down stuff, getting the ball out of their hands quickly. Because that's all you can do. I'm just asking questions, folks. That's all I'm doing. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next! We're going to G. G is in the building. Salutes to you, G. For those of you that do not know, G, he's a savage. Savage! G, salutes to you, my friend. I'm up here and I'm asking questions, G. And I want to hear your takes on this. From what you saw during the New York Jets offense in this game against the Miami Dolphins, what is your assessment of this, man? And where do you place the blame for most of the issues that we saw today?
Joe, first of all, thanks for doing the whole show. This part, as well as everything while watching the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, where do you put the? Oh no, most definitely, you always come through. Where do you put the blame? I put it there a couple times in the chat. There's so many different places. What type of personnel are we working with? So that starts with JD. What type of coaching are we working with? And it's all about situations. JD's young, but not young anymore. Saleh, young, not young anymore. But let me get to my point. Like, I saw creativity with Mike LaFleur, and I'm not going to bring this up because I know everybody's just like, Mike LaFleur, trash.
No, go ahead, yeah.
But we saw some creativity. We saw creativity there. We're not seeing it anymore. We're seeing Adam Gase-like. And before, you heard the announcers, they were going back like 50 years, 40 years, 30 years about how inept this is. So how many Jets coaches do I need to name? Like, I guess it's unanswerable question besides you got to look at personnel, and then you got to look at what is the offensive person doing, because everybody's, since Gase, and prior to has been defensive coaches. So it's so hard to put it together. And then you look big picture and you think like the whole NFL, who's doing it with how many, this is not about the excuses, but the story is like how many offensive line, like, put together did we have? Max Mitchell abused, like Newman abused, so many things happening. And I just don't know any other team that's going through it. I put it there in the chat too. Like, I'm out here, as you said, with the area code 408. I'm out here in Niners country, and like to see Purdy and Debo, and 9,000 people on the front on the defensive line that are all first rounders. It's like it can be done, y'all, but we just are not. It's one thing or the other. And so, yeah, it's a sad bit of offense. To answer your question, I mean, I think it's got to be part personnel, part offense. Thing. I'm a big fan of Salah. I don't put this on him because it's the same passes, the same 3-yard passes that have been thrown, even when Zach was in there. So, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know if you're on Bluetooth or something. Maybe you have a headset, but if you could correct that a little bit because you're breaking up just a little bit. But what I'm stunned by, and you're giving us some great takes. Here's what I'm stunned by, is that there were screams for weeks to get rid of Zach Wilson as a starting quarterback, which, okay, fine. I was told, though, by multiple people that Zach Wilson was the sole issue of why all of these things were happening. That's what I was sold. I was told, because when I, and again, y'all can go back and listen to this. I'm just here asking questions. I'm not a Zach apologist. When I said, well, yeah, Zach he's not playing like Mahomes or Hurts, but man, there's bigger issues than just him that nobody's talking about. Alan Lazard being one of them. And I've been talking about Alan Lazard for about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm talking about turning the heat up on his keister. And people were like, no, Joe, it's not that big of a deal. Really? Okay. The drops, issues today. Guys not getting open. Oh, there was issues with that today, right? Nobody's really open outside of Garrett Wilson every now and then. And if it ain't him, then Breece Hall is just, out there, coming out that backfield. What about this offensive line? You've been here. I've said, hey, this offensive line, they're letting up pressure like never before. Well, they cut Chris Glazer. Max Mitchell was destroyed today, as usual. And that right side struggled with pressure, right? Now, Beckton wasn't playing today either. Carter Warren was in. But that right side was horrific. Phillips had a field day. Here we have the guy that knows the offense better than Zach Wilson. But the offensive play calling looks exactly the same as when Zach Wilson was playing. So at this point, G, when do you think people are going to see that the offensive issues are bigger than Zach Wilson? And it's not just about personnel. It ain't just about the offensive line is bad. Like, guys are dropping balls. There's penalties. Okay. When are people going to start talking about Nathaniel Hackett and this offense, this awful play calling? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. Like, a lot of times you're not wrong at all. Like, people just, they can't see that what was going on with that. Those short passes, those I'm going to take 1 second, step back and throw it. Like, everyone knows, everyone in the stadium knows that it's going to be this, or that it's going to be this little bit off the Breece Hall. That's why they're jumping the passes and knocking them down and things as such. So, yeah, as much as I'm on, on some personnel bit, it's like, what can you do with what you got? Of course, a fair amount of criticism and critique and wonder or whatever his coaches got to do has to go to, why are we calling plays like this? Now, it's in their defense that I always go back to, well, how much time do they have when dudes getting run over Jalen Phillips before he got hurt was just making Max Mitchell just hey, give me your lunch, kid. It was just all over. And so, I mean, I think, that, you got to go back, I think, and look at the many the different years, the Gase years, and who he had under him, though he was probably calling all that stuff. Like, I would bet it would look, like I said, with commentators, and the people that follow the stats, knowing that this is like historically inept. That's a good question for those type of folks, Joe. It's a really good question. And I think, like, if you're doing the research and you check and just see, yep, it's the same type of plays as when we were doing this, this, and this. And the other number 7, Kenny O'Brien, going back in the day for y'all, was running it. Like, if they're not doing stuff, though Kenny actually do it. If they're like doing stuff like that, then that's your answer right there. I think it's a combination. It's personnel, it's coaching, but again, like credit to Saleh. Again, I'm gonna come across as like a Saleh apologist, but I like him as a motivator. I like him as a person, maybe not the best time management, but he did. What do we want? We want to see Noah Uzama. I didn't see Uzama today. I saw a record in there. We wanted to see Alan Lazar get. He made some tough decisions, and dudes are dropping balls and not. It's like, I don't know. I mean, and you get me on the right day, I'll have something to say about Saleh too. But it's like, come on. Like,
listen,
it's all over.
I hear you, and look, I think that Robert Saleh is a good coach. I don't personally think he's going to get fired, but man, I tell you what, you watched what we're seeing out here, and you watch that defense go, and this defense played to the wall. Even today, they played very well. They just cannot hold up for 4 quarters of this every single game of the season where, damn near every single game of the season, but they can't hold up like this when an offense just is going out there and not producing at all. And I think that somebody needs to get called.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, quickly. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to go off of what you were saying right there. And again, it's going to make me seem like I'm, cheerleading for Robert Saleh, but like he did pull, Quentin Jefferson out after that, like, penalty where, Jefferson comes at the guy, after getting pushed down or things and such. So we're seeing coaching moves being made. And if anyone's going to question, defense, just check out that, that Philly game.
Yeah.
Or things. I mean, there's things that are happening that, couldn't have happened if the defense and, someone's not there coaching that side. And no discredit to Oberg, but anyway, so I apologize for cutting you off, but you were saying exactly what I was saying. It was like, oh man, this guy's trying his best, but
yeah. At the end of the day, like, it's going to get to a point where I can foresee in the future where this defense, it's going to boil over. This defense is going to get tired of going out there week after week after week and putting out clinics and still getting destroyed, 32-7. 27 to 10 because an offense and you're only scoring those 10 points in garbage time because they're letting up. This defense is going to get tired of that. And I'm wondering at what point we're going to start looking around. And again, this is one game with Boyle right here. This guy's a fluent veteran of the offense. When are we going to start looking around saying, hey, these issues are way bigger than Zach Wilson, way bigger. We have way bigger issues than Zach Wilson here, way bigger. And I think if this is not the game that's going to show people that, I don't know what will. But, G, we've been talking for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, man,
no problem.
Give me your thoughts about what you're seeing. Give me your thoughts about the defense and some of the highlights that you saw today, man. What are your thoughts about Sauce? What are your thoughts about Quentin Williams and those guys? Because I want to shine a positive light on them as well, because they're going out there and playing. Again, they gave up 34 today, but this was a tough 34 where they were put in a lot of really bad situations. Give me your thoughts about what you saw from the defense today. Yeah, and just give it a few, Joe, and anybody that's on here right now. Look at Joe like ending the call with like this positive tip, because I mean, the defense tried the ball, right? Like we as Jets fans got to rally around whatever good we can, and so I appreciate that thing. What did I see? I saw, Q still trying to bulldoze and do, I finally figured out that whole roll thing he does is like a roll tide thing. Because when I saw when the Miami did it, I was just like, oh, so that's what it is, that little dance that Q does. Mm-hmm. But he was doing his thing, Quincy doing his thing, and it echoes. Can we, now just agree with what the stats say? Like when it comes down to like our DBs, obviously Michael Carter not there,
but then Echols comes through. Like, you just don't throw against him. That's why Tua is throwing in like 2.1 seconds. He's like, all right, get this out real quick. You know, we make every quarterback look like it, but when you got an offense that goes it. But anyway, I'm not going to end on the negative. Goes top to him, Williams, and isn't it going to be sad to see Huff go? I know you got to hang up this phone call right now and pick up the other line.
I don't.
When Huff goes, I'm gonna be so sad, dude.
You don't think we're going to re-sign Michael?
That's my defense right there.
You don't think we're going to re-sign Bryce Huff?
I don't think. I think Bryce Huff has priced himself out, my man. I think the book is out on him, and if folks need him and they got the cash, they're gonna do it. Aaron's gonna cost what he's gonna cost. I don't know what they're gonna decide with Mekhi, but yeah, I don't know. Just call me the pessimist. Like, as much as I want Huff, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Gee,
I hope we can.
I'm going to keep you on for a little bit longer because you just opened the door, and you do this every time you come on here. I don't know if you do it
sorry
purposely.
about that.
I don't know if you do it purposely, but I like where you're going.
Hey, I like to give you things to talk about because I like what you got to say.
I want to.
So pardon me.
Yeah, no, listen. I want to touch on that. The New York Jets are going to have some decisions to make, and this is what I talked about, or I started to kind of allude to this with Mekhi Becton. If you think this offensive line is bad now, oh, brother, wait until the offseason when you have to make a decision on Mekhi Becton. Because if you don't get him signed, and again, left tackles of his ilk don't come cheap. Even guys that are average on the free agency market, guys that are average or like below him, they still be getting paid. To be starters, they still get paid. Mm-hmm. This guy is an elite left tackle. He's back to being elite again. And for all of those of you that did not want him to get that fifth-year option, baby, you got your wish. And it's going to turn into a nightmare because we could have had him for cheap, and we don't. So now you either got to pay him or franchise him, and franchise him is a ton of money. Paying him is a ton of money. Good luck with that. Now, Bryce Huff, you were just talking about him, and that's a great analysis there. They better pray that they get Bryce Huff back. Because if you don't, you're going to have some problems going forward. And here's what it is. You better make sure. Will McDonald, he's looking like he's going to be that guy, right? He's showing us. Jermaine Johnson, solid. But in this league with passers, like we have Super Bowl aspirations, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Herbert. I can keep going on with the names. Deshaun Watson, who's going to get back. We saw Russell Wilson, who's getting better. If you do not have guys, more than one, more than two. You need 3 or 4 in this league. In this league to chase down Patrick Mahomes, that's why the Eagles went and got Jalen Carter and all those guys. That's why the Bills went and signed Von Miller when they already had Rousseau and Ed Oliver and all those other guys because they know we got to chase.
Once we talk about the West Coast, I'm sorry.
I didn't
talk about the West Coast. Why Chase Young, Bosa? So keep going. I'm sorry. Like,
I watched
it.
I watched it like you. I'm forced to watch those guys. Okay, up in SF, way too much. All right, it's not even fun at this point. It's not even funny. Chase Young, Bosa, Fred Warner. Do you want to? All right, that's enough. All right, that's enough Niner love. Okay, listen. If you do not have multiple guys, you're going to be in trouble. Huff right now is at like near the top of the league or at the top of the league in pressure rates. You have to get him re-signed.
Oh yeah.
You have to.
Oh yeah.
You have to. Like it's there's going. I'm telling you, this is going to get very interesting this coming off season. Very interesting on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is, he can't cover up for everything. Because we saw that this year. If you don't protect him, you'll see where he's at. He's going to be on the sidelines again. So we've got to figure all of this stuff out, G. We got to figure all of it out. I don't want to go too far because we got games coming and we'll be talking in the offseason. But you do this on a weekly basis. I want to let you know every time I talk to you, you always say something to try to get me to talk about some stuff upcoming. But I'll tell you what, G.
Because you got some good takes, my man.
Thank you. Yeah. And I love talking to you. But I gotta go ahead and slide off. Listen, G. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right.
Most definitely, go Jets.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Listen, man. I'm telling y'all, the New York Jets, we got to figure some things out, and I'm hoping we get better going forward. I'm hoping we do. But boy, oh boy. boy, oh boy, is there some decisions that need to be made. And again, I think today, right? Today shows you that these offensive issues are way bigger than Zach Wilson. Way bigger. We're going to keep it into the lines, 515-602-9639. Because, brother, this offensive line is poop. It's poop. And we're gonna get back to the lines before I just go off on a rant here. I think Tim's on the line here. This is Tim. We got to talk to him. Listen, we're going to Tim. For those of you that do not know Tim, he's a savage. Savage. Tim's,
what's up, Joe?
What's going on, Tim? Listen, Tim. Alan Lazard was benched today. Tim Boyle was the New York Jets starting quarterback, but we're seeing the same offensive struggles from the Jets. And we're also seeing heavy penalties and sloppy play, man. Give me your thoughts about your analysis on what you saw from the New York Jets against the Dolphins.
One word, unwatchable.
Whoa.
Unwatchable. I mean, I'm appalled, dude. I'm just appalled. Like, I mean, it really does go to show how easily influenced we all are into thinking that most of the blame falls on Zach Wilson. Because look, we all point out the issues with the offensive line. We all point out the issues with the wide receivers. But predominantly the blame has gone on Zach. And, today I think was a wake-up call for everybody in the organization, especially Coach Saleh, that he needs to look at. I'm kind of tired about the injury talk. I feel like every year we're using the injuries as an excuse every year. And there's other teams that have just as many injuries that perform and execute.
Yeah.
So, I'm starting to think it's Hackett. I'm starting to think it's Hackett. I mean, the offensive line's fine, but there's ways to get Breece Hall the ball, even if you have a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. Just keep dumping it off. I don't care if they got to dump it off to him on screens 40 times a game. Give it to the guys who can get yards and see what happens. You know what I mean? And then maybe something good happens, and then next week you could take the same approach. I mean, it's just been horrendous.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that, and this is a good take, and we're gonna keep on talking, Tim. You know what's crazy? I hate the Dolphins more than any other team in the league. I hate the Dolphins more than any other team in our division. And I know people hate the Patriots more, but I hate the Dolphins. I cannot stand them. I've never, ever liked them. But what I saw from McDaniel on the other side today, offensively, was unbelievable. And that shows me why he's a head coach and why they consider him one of the brighter offensive minds in this league. You know what I don't see on the Jets? I don't see them utilize the players the same way he does within his offense. Because you know what he does? He'll just put a guy like Tyreek Hill. I want to get Tyreek Hill the ball. So I'm going to put him in the backfield. And I'm going to have him run out of the backfield like I would Breece Hall or anybody else. And I'm going to use different personnel packages to get guys the ball. My screens, if I'm Mike McDaniel, his screen game is crazy. I was talking about that during the game. They were running screens that didn't look like screens until you saw them materialize. And by then, it was already too late. By the time you realized it was a screen, it was already too late. They were already into it, and you were like, what? Some of the ways that they run the football, the formations they use, the motions that they use, the trick stuff that they use. There was a play, I don't remember, I think it was in the second quarter or the first, when Tua, it looked like that option stuff where it looked like he actually handed it off to Mozart. No, he had actually flipped it out to Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek ran for a bunch of yards. And I was like, what in the world is going on out there? And you could see that there's so much going on out there, so much motion, and so much, everything's moving so fast that even though the Jets defense was playing solid, you could tell for a minute they were thinking, and that's the worst thing you want to do when you're a defensive player is have to think. You just want to go out there and play. But then after the defense would get a stop, I would see the Jets offense come out there and they look stagnant. You don't have to worry about where the ball's going. You know where it's going. It's either going to Breece Hall.
Oh, you know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to Breece Hall or it's going somewhere else. So I'm wondering, when are people going to start to turn the heat up on Hackett? Because this is Tim Boyle. He's your guy. He's the guy that you said that you brought in here as a backup. He know the offense. There's no reason for you not to open up the playbook. Today should have been, and I'm going to give it back to you, Tim. I just want to finish this. Today should have been the coming out party. Today should have been, you should have seen everything that you have in the bag, because there's no reason not to. This guy knows everything.
That's right.
There's no reason. You don't have to worry about whether he's going to be swimming and not understand things or he's going to be behind. This guy knows everything. We saw none of that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the same thing. The same thing. Slow, dead offense. Tim, give me your word on that, Tim.
It's just bad. It's just poor coaching. I mean, why not? To your point, Joe. Right now, let me be the devil's advocate for what you said real quick, and then I'll go into my thoughts. When you have a player like Tyreek Hill, you know, you can sway the entire defensive side of the ball by where you line him up in motion. And, you know, he's the kind of player that you either have to commit a bunch of people in if he's in the backfield to try not to let him get wide or get out. And then when you do that, you know, they just flip it over the top to a tight end across the middle. And so it is kind of, I could see where it would be extremely frustrating to have somebody like that on the team that can pretty much do anything and be anyone because he's faster than everybody else. So he can be, you know, he can play every position basically. Mm-hmm. We don't really have a guy like that. And like you said, we're so one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. It's like when Breece Hall's in the game, it's a run. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, or a screen. And everything else, it seems like all of the pass plays are like the same plays over and over again that keep getting broken up constantly. And I haven't seen any like interesting play calls from Hackett at all. Why not this, Joe? Why not put Abanaconda in the backfield, put Breece Hall in the backfield?
About to say that.
And maybe stick Brownlee in the slot in like the screen position. And then do some kind of option shit and stuff. You know what I mean?
Watch it. Like, family show. I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. We have no creativity. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest reason, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, I think the biggest reason that Hackett is not getting destroyed at this point in the media and by our fans is because they know if they destroy Hackett, they're indirectly destroying Aaron Rodgers' choice. And a lot of people are not willing to do that right now because they still want to see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform. But, you know, look, I'm starting to be not one of those people, man. I'm starting to be the guy that said, Aaron Rodgers came over. We paid him all this money. He played 4 snaps. He brought Hackett over. He brought Lazard over. Hackett's doing awful. Can't call anything creative to make the thing go at all. And Lazard just got benched. Mm-hmm. So did we really just get the shaft on this whole thing or what?
I tell you what, Lazard I've been on him for a minute. Lazard is playing bad, and we'll see what happens as it goes forward. But to this point, I'm looking at, and we'll get to the next caller in just a second. I'm looking at this situation like this, and I want to go back to what you were talking about the motion, and we don't have a guy. I'm not saying that Garrett Wilson is Tyreek Hill yet, right? He's definitely a guy that's ascending, though, right? I'm not saying that he's an elite wide receiver because you can't necessarily say that yet. He's not a Devontae Adams or a Jamar Chase. He's not those guys just yet. But
needs a quarterback.
Yeah. Or offensive coordinator. But I will tell you this. He is our weapon. He's the guy that we can go to, right? He was a, you know, offensive rookie of the year last year. Like, he's a guy that we can go to. The fact that we're not motioning him around and utilizing him in different ways is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You don't think that defenses have to commit? They have to commit something to stopping Garrett Wilson. We see it every week. They be doubling him. We see it every week. So it's not like Garrett is chopped liver and they don't pay attention. No, they know That's why they double him. But we're not motioning him. We're not utilizing him in different ways. You just talked about Izzy Anabanakande. I was talking about that during the game, live. Why is Dalvin Cook still getting carries? Why? I thought Michael Carter was gone so we can get Izzy involved. Izzy's not involved at all. He didn't get nothing today. Why are we not?
Yeah, I don't. A lot about.
Yeah. I don't get it. I just that is what's killing me, because Mike McDaniel has been calling like this for a minute. He's been calling plays like this for a minute, and there's other offensive coordinators. You look at the way the Lions utilize their offense, utilize their different guys. There's so many coordinators around the league that are finding a way to invent or be creative with their offenses. They're finding ways to get their guys the football, even if you know it's coming. And they're still having more success than us. And so I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, all these problems that we're seeing and we screamed about, we're still having them now. And it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Give me the final word on that, Tim.
Well, I'm feeling real negative, Joe. I'll be honest with you. I'm really trying. I've been trying for 25 years to stay positive. Mm-hmm. Season after season, there's a glimmer of hope, and then they crush our soul and suck out our heart by the end of the season, right? Yeah. And I really don't know what they're doing, Like, in my head, it's like they're from an organizational standpoint, they're probably looking at the 4-6. Aaron Rodgers comes out with that big public statement about how all these teams weren't out of it, even after starting 4-6, and blah, 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 blah. And here we are, and we're in this big pivot game. I consider this like a huge pivot game where if we can take this game down, then we might be able to go on a run, hold out for Aaron to come back, something happens. But people aren't seeing the forest through the trees right now. I mean, what they should be looking at is the fact that when we are missing two players, our entire team disintegrates, minus the defense.
Yes.
and it's like pathetic. It's like straight up pathetic. Yeah. Like, I mean, first we went, how many games with Zach Wilson? We couldn't get a touchdown. And then it's like, let's give Tim Boyle a shot so he can throw a 99-yard pick six on a Hail Mary at the end of a half. I mean, it's just everything that we do creates a whole new level of embarrassment that I didn't even know existed. And it's really hard for me to kind of reconcile that. I mean, you could say a couple things. You could say Hackett is a hack, complete hack, who just has been getting around the league through his friendships over the years and, getting accolades for the play of the quarterback that he's coached and not really because of what he's doing. And, you could say that. A lot of people are critical of Saleh. I personally love Saleh. I think he's a great head coach. I think he does what a head coach should do. If you're a defensive head coach, your offense should be in the hand of an offensive coordinator. Yeah. And he did the right thing there. Unfortunately, Hackett can't hack it. So I don't know. Get rid of the coach. Get rid of Lazard. Forget Aaron Rodgers this season. Bring in Abanikanda into every game. Bench Cook. Bring in Brownlee for Lazard, mix up the play call. I mean, go nuts. You know what I mean? Go into the office after this game and say, all right, I want 20 of the craziest plays you guys can imagine on my desk tomorrow morning, and we're going to run all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, shake it up, dude. Like, every team comes in, like, just chuckling to themselves because they're like, this quarterback's not throwing anything to anybody. No. We just got to come down, put pressure on him. He'll fold like a folding chair, and we'll win the game. And that's exactly what happened. And then on the flip side of that, too, Joe, like the point you made earlier, the difference is with Mike McDaniel and his squad, and I heard them mention this during the game, and it's absolutely right. It's the execution. Yes. He stresses the execution. Yes. All of these guys are executing their job. Blockers that have to block 10 yards away after a play starts 4 seconds ago are in that position 10 yards away, knocking somebody down. Yeah. And that's why they can get down the field. That's why their triple options work. That's why they're so confusing out of the backfield. And then eventually it opens up a 99-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? Yes. That's it. We can't execute, man. We just can't execute at a professional level at this point. And it's like embarrassing as heck. Like, I mean, every professional coach, no matter how bad your team, should be able to throw in a couple plays that create yardage. we can't get any yards at all. We can't get third downs. We can't get touchdowns. We could barely get field goals. I mean, we missed an extra point today.
Tim,
you know what Kirk Herbstreit said, and I'll leave it here. You know what he said after the pick six?
Go ahead.
He said if there was one if there was one play that I could choose to define the Jets this season, it would be that play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I mean, the level of patheticness is embarrassing. I mean, I don't even know how to defend this team to my friends anymore. Usually, it's like, yeah, but we got the best defense. Look at our defense; it's so great. These guys are studs; they're great. I can't even anymore because the offense is just trumping the embarrassment so much that nobody even thinks about the defense anymore.
It's wild, Tim. Tim, I gotta slide off. I got other callers. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. This was a fire call from you, man.
No doubt, Joe. Always good talking to you. Go Jets, man.
Absolutely. Go Jets. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. I'm just listening and asking questions, man. That's all I'm doing. Next! We're getting to a caller. You're looking like a new caller here. Give me your name, where you're from, and give me your thoughts on this Jets loss, my friend.
And we got to get rid of Joe Douglas.
Hold on a second.
It's Val.
What? Say it again. What's your name? Where you from?
It's Val.
Oh, Val's coming back for the Listen, for those of you that do not know, okay, Val's calling in from a new number. Savage! Savage! Val sneaking back up here. Val, go ahead, man.
All right, man. Listen, we gotta nothing to the other callers and stuff like that, but it's just like, what has Robert Saleh? I feel like is a coordinator. He's like more of a better defensive coordinator than a head coach, because my thing is, as a CEO head coach, he would have definitely took down. He would have told, I would say, Nathaniel Hackett to step down from the play calling if stuff is not going right. I would say, man, I just feel like the adjustment of the teams, the adjustment of the players and the play calling has been, it definitely needs to get better as well, too. I just feel like, this team, man, it's very stalemate. As you just seen the Dolphins, they utilize their talent, just like how you were saying. That's key right there, utilizing their talent. And I want to get on Alan Lazard real quick, because I didn't get on him on the Buffalo Bills game, man. Because the Buffalo Bills, man, when that game, this man, they caught an interception. He ran back, and he went to go and hug the guy. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, you deserve to get benched for that. You know what I'm saying? Why are you going to hug the guy? Then on top of that, you're dropping the balls left and right, and you're supposed to be this $44 million player, and that you're getting $11 million every year for 4 years and stuff, and you're not producing.
Yeah.
And I see why Green Bay Packers was so swiftly to get rid of Alan Lazard.
Yeah. Here's the deal, and I want to play devil's advocate on this take about Saleh, right? Because I want to give both sides. We used to have a really great head coach here named Rex Ryan. Anybody remember him? 2 AFC championships back-to-back. He was phenomenal. This defense was screaming. I'm talking screaming, and it was getting it done. But at one point, the offense couldn't get it done. And at one point, things were falling apart. Even though Rex had a top defense in this league, we still fired him because he couldn't get an offense together, and he couldn't get a quarterback to figure things out. Even though he had hired multiple offensive coordinators, they still fired him after 2 AFC championships back-to-back. So if Rex can face that scrutiny, why can't Robert Saleh?
Exactly.
I'm just asking questions. Hold on. I want to make this very clear.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the other side of the coin. I love Robert Saleh, but I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to come this season. I'm going to say this. I don't think it's going to come this season. But next season, when Aaron Rodgers comes back, which is when I think he should come back, if the New York Jets do not do something, I'm talking about make the playoffs or something, I could see things going left here. I'm just going to say that. Go ahead, Val. Go Go ahead. I'm going to give you the final word on
Absolutely,
this.
I agree. Okay, and I absolutely agree with you on that as well too. Because my thing is, I love Robert Saleh as well too. I'm not going to say he's a great head coach because great is going to Super Bowls and actually going to the playoffs and going deep into the playoffs as well too. I would say he's okay. He's been okay. We've been having losing seasons after losing seasons, and yes, we have a great defense. We had a back-to-back great defense, but the offense and the adjustments as well too hasn't really been up to par as well. Holding people accountability, we're finally seeing it this season, but it takes so long for them to actually make the adjustments, like the in-game adjustments. The left tackle position, we seen that in the beginning. Dwayne Brown, we've been talking about that with Mekhi Becton. He shouldn't even been on the right side. He should have been on the left side in the beginning. But us as fans, we know that. Why the head coaches don't know that they see them every day and practicing with them. And that's my problem with Robert Saleh is the in-game adjustments. Yes, he did get better from the beginning of the start, but I'm still not seeing those. Where's that CEO head coach that we brought here? And, that Joe Douglas had hired to be that CEO head coach. He said, I'm not touching the offense. I'm not touching the defense. I'm going to be the CEO. And where's that accountability of that person, regardless if he's your friend or regardless if you had a, history with that guy? Where is the accountability to that? If they're not producing and putting their jobs, on full display, because it's basically the same thing over and over. As you just seen the Dolphins, they utilize their talent. You had Eric the Enemy that could have possibly came here. We should have hired him if you wanted something. He won Super Bowls. This guy just got fired after one season as a head coach. So you see what I'm saying? If you're Joe Douglas, this is on you as well too, because you was the person that hired Nathaniel Hackett, regardless of what Saleh says and regardless of his friendship with Nathaniel Hackett. You could have went out and got Eric the Enemy that went to multiple Super Bowls with the Kansas City, which was 2 or 3 or something like that. Yeah, it was 2, but still, that's the person that you get because they go to the playoffs every year, and he's actually doing good with the Washington Commanders, regardless of the talent that they have. But can you imagine if he was with this team right now? This team would be running and gunning, and definitely we wouldn't be looking the same and stagnant and stuff. Yeah. And I also want to touch on this, man, because the Jaguars, you even said it this offseason. You was like, man, we got Nathaniel Hackett. Listen, if he can make Blake Bortles look good, he can make Zach Wilson look good because he's not depending on the passing. He's going to run the ball. And as you see right now, he doesn't know what to do. He is the same thing. And honestly with you, man, Blake Bortles had a better, he's been looking better than Zach Wilson, too. I'm just going to put it out there. But I will say, man, the problem is right now is Nathaniel Hackett. He's the main problem. Joe Douglas, he's another problem as well, too. I love Joe Douglas. He's very good when it comes to trades. And because now we got our first pick, and that turns into a second pick. That was a great job by him because he was on a stalemate, and he definitely did a couple of things. But he had a lot of misses when it comes to free agents and a lot of misses when it comes to self-judgment, especially not utilizing the backup position of quarterback, not taking it serious when others took it serious. And, it just all replicates on the organization. It's an organization problem.
Here's the thing. Listen, Val, and I hear you. Here's the thing. I think that, Joe Douglas has done a lot of great things here, and I'm not going to bash him, but he has made some mistakes, absolutely. And I think their handling of the offensive line, I think, was the biggest issue for me. Because if that offensive line, if you had never depended on Dwayne Brown to be your starting left tackle, right? If you would have, I understand we were targeting that tackle, Broderick Jones in the draft, but there were other guys there too that you could have grabbed, or if you would have made a trade or something for a tackle way before the season started, I think the Jets would have been in a better situation, particularly if they would have just put Mekhi Becton at left tackle and started him and found a right tackle. I think we would have been better off, but we played games with that, and look at where it's gotten us. I will say this. I don't think that anybody's getting fired. I'm going to say it again. As of right now, right after this game, I don't think anyone's going to get fired. But I'll tell you what, next season, when Aaron Rodgers comes back, which is when he should come back, they're going to work their tails off this offseason, because if they do not do something next season, I think that's when heads are going to roll. That's when I think things are going to go. It could go left. If the season go left, brother, like they could, and I don't want to say this, but I'm being real. They could all be out of here, especially with how quick the Johnsons are. They could all be out of here. This is the first time in their tenure that I can remember them really allowing a general manager to have the type of power, say-so, and control over the team that Joe Douglas has had. They have a history of being horrific owners and always being way too involved in football decisions and operations. If we don't do something next year, I don't give a damn how much Aaron Rodgers smiles. If he go out there and we don't look really good and at least be on the cusp of making the playoffs, I'm talking about 10 and something, or be in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Brother, because this fan base is going to lose it. I'm just going to be sitting here listening and asking questions like I always do, 515-602-9639. But it's going to go left. Give me your thoughts, your final thoughts on that, and then I got to go ahead on Val.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and I totally agree with you, because, listen, they got one more year, in my opinion, because if things doesn't change, then absolutely there's going to be a huge change. And you got to look at it as well, too, man. You got Garrett Wilson that's going to be on his third year. And you got Sauce Gardner that's going to be in his third year. And then you got, the rest of the people that we brought from that 2022 draft. And C.J. Mosley, he's only getting older as well, too. Then you got to think about what you're going to do with Bryce Huff. I like what y'all was conversating about that, because that's going to be a huge situation. I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the relationship between the Jets and Mekhi Becton, I feel like that's going to diminish. I feel like Mekhi is going to actually move on.
Talk about it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on, Val. Stay right there. Let's go. Let's go.
Due to money issues as well, too, and him begging to go to the left side, and they kept saying, oh, no, just stay on the right side. Well, we got a guy, Dwayne Brown, that's 38 years old, that's basically going to be out of the league next year and stuff, but you're going to cape for that guy. But, it's crazy. And then on top of that, the injury issues. We basically showed Mekhi Becton that we don't trust him and his knee. So, he's going to take that into play. And on top of that, we have another losing season. So it's just like, everybody's seeing that, and he's seeing that as well, too. He's probably going to take his bags and go somewhere else, and then we're going to probably move on. And like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about Devontae Adams until we address this offensive line for sure, because we definitely need to address that, because if you're going to have nothing but pocket passers on this team, you have to get an offensive line. I don't care who's back there, and I agree with you as well, too, because you said this a couple of years ago. It doesn't matter who's back there. At least if a mobile quarterback could at least run out of the pocket so he could dodge, some defenders, defensive lines and stuff. But if you have a pocket passer back there and he's a statue, he's going to automatically go down or probably even get injured and stuff. So, you have to build that offensive line, and that's what we need to focus on this offseason regardless of what. But I love the edge rusher, and also I have another question real quick. What is the history of Kyle Lawson?
Oh, Carl Lawson was inactive today. He was inactive today. He's been inactive for a little bit. After the season, I think he's probably going to be gone. He's been inactive a lot this year.
Yeah, that's another person.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be gone after this
that's why I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah.
And we're paying him a lot of money as well too. So he might be another person that's out the door as well too. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever money that we're giving him, we could definitely give it to Bryce Huff for sure. So I think that would take care of that problem. But yeah, that's all I got for now, Joe.
Listen, I want to thank you for calling back in, Val. Val slid in on a new number. Give me his takes. Listen, next time I have a show, I want to hear from you twice or 3 times. Whatever, Val. I love talking football with you. You have a good one, man.
Don't tempt me, this guy. All right, you too, man.
Man, listen. I'm just listening, man. I want to hear from everybody. That's what I want. All right? I want to hear takes. I want to hear what folks have to say. Okay? Because this is going to be a very interesting season going into the offseason. Everybody's saying, well, Huff is gone. Let me tell you something. Huff is the engine that really makes this defense go. His pressure that he's providing off of the edge is the reason why the New York Jets are a big part of the reason why the New York Jets defense looks the way it looks. You take that away, you got to definitely make sure that there's a guy to replace that. And I love Will McDonald, but Will McDonald has been inactive this year at times. And I feel like if you're going to move on from Huff, you better start utilizing McDonald more and getting him more experience. You better start getting him out on that field more. Because if him and Jermaine Johnson are going to be the guys next year, which we know, they're still going to be on their contracts, then you better make sure that they have all the know-how of what's up. You better make sure they have all the experience that you can give them. Because next year, Jets fans are all going to be screaming, it's going to be a Super Bowl or bust year for a lot of Jets fans. I'm telling you, when Aaron Rodgers comes back, and y'all can quote me right now, when he comes back, there are going to be a host of Jets fans that are going to scream Super Bowl or bust. Trust me. Just like we were screaming this year. Which in a point is righteous. Right? So that means you have to be Super Bowl caliber on all levels. And when you go up against these upper echelon teams, the Chiefs, the Eagles, we saw it this year, you have to be able to get after their quarterback. You have to be able to put pressure on them. Even the lower level teams, the guys you'll meet right before you meet the playoff teams, you better get to them. Because if you don't, good luck. All right. But we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Becton and all that stuff coming up this offseason, man. You know what I'm saying? I got takes. I got thoughts. But I want to hear from you. All right. This is a phenomenal show, man. Really enjoy talking to people again. For those of you that are listening on the podcast side, this was directly after. I'm talking about directly after the New York Jets lost to the Miami Dolphins. We go live, man. I don't run from nothing. Okay? I don't run. All right? I just, I stand tall. Chest out. I stand on business. I stand on business. Okay? For those of you that do not know, your boy Joe stand on business. All right? So, we're going to close out the show now. Salutes to all the savages. Salutes to everybody listening. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well. Going over to Twitter. Type in at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times, man. Okay? I can't wait till he comes back. He's going to be a big piece to making a push going forward. We need him, man. Along with Mekhi Becton. We need him, man. Boy, oh boy. All right? So we'll be down there trolling. Go ahead and again, follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll? Let's get it. Okay. I'm also on YouTube as well. For those of you that may not know, going over to YouTube, type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. All right. Also give the videos a thumbs up and share them across your social media with your friends and your family. For those of you that do not know this, listen, I'll be outside, man. I'll be out. And eventually you will see me. You will see me because I'll be around. And when you do see me in person, because I do be outside and I stand on business, all right, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone, especially in times like this. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, all right? Especially in times like this. The hugs will always remain free. I want to thank you folks for listening. I want to thank you folks for calling in. I want to thank you folks for interacting with your boy any way that you do. You folks are the absolute best. Until the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace. 1 second, folks. All right, I'm back. Boom. Listen, phenomenal show. I want to thank everybody for calling in. I know that this is not the not the outcome we wanted, right? But here we are. Okay. I appreciate all of y'all. Really, really fun time sitting down with y'all, talking football, having a blast, and watching football with y'all. I'll let y'all know when the next show is going to be next week. Gonna have a lot of fun and discuss a lot of different things. Man, so many things moving and shaking with this football team, right? Who knows what can come next? Again, I appreciate all the callers. For those of you, for those of you that are new, I do this live show on a weekly basis. We definitely do live game watch-alongs like y'all saw today. And directly after the game, we go live with the radio show like we did today, and we talk about this team. Now, weekly, I do weekly shows as well. Again, this number does not change. Generally, my shows start at 7 p.m. Eastern during the week, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when we start my show. So what people do is they'll call in early. Okay, as y'all saw today, we had callers. Some people call in at 6:50 p.m. Eastern. 6:50 p.m. Eastern. I think that's when the lines open. Some people tell me that they open before that. So what happens is my lines open, and then my show starts at 7 p.m. So people call in at 6:50. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm telling you what certain people do so that you know that it's not illegal for you to do either. Okay, and I put this out there because, again, I welcome all callers, all perspectives, no matter where you're from, what you're doing. If you love the team, or even if you're a fan of another team and you want to talk about the Jets, you want to talk about football, call on in. Here's the deal. There's people that call in early, and that's how to get on the show early. Generally, my shows, again, start at 7 p.m. I'll come on, give my little spiel for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then I get straight to the callers, okay? Sometimes it's less than that, but I get straight to the callers, and then we have the discussion about football. So if you want to get on earlier, and that's your prerogative, call in at 6:50 and wait the 10 minutes for the show to start, and then wait another 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll be on earlier than everyone else. I have a queue system. When you call in, I can physically see you, okay? I can physically see you. So when you call in, just wait your time, and I'll get to everybody. Trust, all right? As y'all saw tonight, we have calls, especially on shows where it's super hot, and we have a lot of calls. Believe me, I move through, and we get to everybody. Generally, I try to give everybody between 5 to 8 minutes, especially when a show is really, really hot and everything's rolling, okay? And we get to everybody and we start talking, and we have a lot of fun. So please, keep that in the know. I can see you and I'll get to you. If you're a new caller and I don't know what your name is, I'm gonna call out your area code, okay? Please know what your area code is. I've had discussions with people that don't know their area codes, all right? Please know what your area code is, all right? So when I come to you, I want to have that discussion. Also, make sure that your phone's good to go and your background is clear of noise, okay? It needs to be clear of noise, because if I can't hear you, and if you don't have a good phone line either, if I can't hear you, my audience can't hear you, what can I do? There's nothing I can do, okay? And I'll have to move on, all right? So please make sure that your phone line is good to go and your background is clear of noise, all right? So, also some people call in on like Bluetooth like headsets. Sometimes that causes like an echo and stuff like that. So I may ask you to alleviate that if it's causing an issue, correct that situation, and we'll keep on with the call. But I can't, you gotta fix that situation so that we can keep on moving and grooving through the call. All right. So yeah, we have a lot of fun here, man. Today wasn't that fun because the Jets are trash, but we'll figure it out. So we do that. Oh, the other thing I don't allow. So there's only really one rule on my show. I don't allow cursing on my show. Don't call on my show cursing. This is YouTube. Okay. This is YouTube. All right. Please respect my platform. I understand people get upset and I'm all with it. I'll give you a warning, but if you keep going crazy, I'll get you up out of here. All right. This is YouTube. So you have to watch that. Very sensitive. Okay. YouTube can be very sensitive. I love YouTube. It's very sensitive. Okay. And also the other is don't call in screaming over me. I mean, you won't win that anyway because I'll just shut you down. But, I want to be able to have that conversation. Again, y'all heard today, I give people more than enough time to talk because I want to hear from y'all. That's what the show is all about, is listening and exchanging opinions and all that stuff. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun here. Please come join us. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We have a lot of fun. Ooh, man, this is going to be very interesting going forward. Yeah, so we also game on this channel. Y'all, we'll get back to that, man. I'm going to get into 2K24. We're going to get that cooking when my schedule allows it. My schedule's crazy right now. Hawkeye says, Joe, what was your favorite Thanksgiving food? What was my favorite Thanksgiving food? I don't want to say something crazy because of my grandma's watching. It was a couple of different dishes. The macaroni and cheese is always fire. Always. Yams was good. I'm gonna go with the macaroni and cheese and the yams. Just fire. Just salutes. Salutes to, the people in my family. All right. That's why I'm gonna leave it there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave it there, Grandma. I'm gonna leave it. All right. So salutes to you, Hawkeye. Yeah. We game on this channel from time to time. I'll get back to that eventually. We'll figure that out. There's other content coming as well. Oh, and again, for those of you that may not know. Exclamation links. That brings up my link tree. My link tree has the links to all of my social media platforms. Okay. Please go over there, check all of those things out, and get involved. Please subscribe to all my YouTube channels and follow me across my social media. For those of you that may be new to me. So we got to get on out of here, man. It's crazy. Listen, Hawkeye salutes. Thank you for joining your boy. Tim's Collectibles, always good to see you in here. Dark Soldier, Rusty, salutes. Hyro, salutes. Man, Jennifer, salutes. Always good to see you guys in here, man. I want to thank y'all for joining your boy and just saying what's up, man. The Jets, it's rough. Bree, salutes. G, salutes. GVH, I see you in the building. Legacy Breaker, salutes. Salutes. Good to see you in here as always, man. Jersey, salutes to you. Patrick Hansen, salutes. Good to see you in the building. I see all of y'all, Salutes to everybody, man. I truly enjoy y'all. Corn, always good to see you in here. Greg, salutes to everybody that joined your boy, said what's up. And, talk to me and interact in any way. Outlaw, salutes to you as well. Mark White, salutes to you as well. Michael, salutes. Everybody that came on in, man, said what's up to me. Tommy, salutes to all of y'all, man. All of you. Mr. Green, SG, Jake, everybody that came on by said what's up to your boy and interacted with me in any way that you did. I appreciate y'all. All right. I get on out of here. Listen, folks, be safe. Okay, be safe. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. All right, be safe out there. Black Friday, watch yourselves. All right, a lot of crazy people doing crazy stuff or crazy deals or what they think is crazy deals. Be safe out here. All right, sit down with your friends and your family, eat some good food, watch some good TV, and enjoy yourselves. All right, make those moments with the people that you love the most. Okay, it's important to me in my life. I hope it's important to you in yours. All right. So I got to get on out of here, folks. Salutes. Thank you, Val. Val says, great scream. Salutes. Salutes. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you guys know when the next show is going to be because your boy got to go. All right? So salutes to everybody. See y'all on the next show. You folks have a good one. Peace.